When we're young, we move with freedom and confidence, with a great resilience to injury. But somewhere along the line, we develop poor habits and become more vulnerable to back pain. Back Pain Solutions features evidence-based and practical advice to help you take back control of your health and get back to the activities you love. This is your guide to better back health through movement. So join us as we demystify some of the commonly held beliefs about back pain and build your confidence to a stronger back the smart way.
Welcome back to the Back Pain Solutions podcast, everybody. It's 2021. We are back, and I'm with my co-host Jacob Stain this afternoon. Afternoon, Jacob.
Afternoon, Ben.
So, my friend, here we are. It's a new year, and we're back with a new episode of the podcast. Got some more guests lined up for the year ahead. Looking forward to getting back into our recording schedule, having had a break over the festive period. How is it for you?
Well, yes, it's great. I'm quite excited to get going again after a little break and get my head on the things I like and starting to think about movement again and discuss it with you.
And give us an update about how things are. It's January 2021 and you're in a lockdown. We're in a lockdown here in the UK, but it seems to be that lockdowns are a little bit different in different countries now. So a gym's closed where you are. There certainly are where we are at the moment.
Yeah, many things are closed over here. We are in a strict lockdown, and we there's a quite a big possibility that from Thursday onwards we can't leave our houses after 8 o'clock in the evening. So things are getting a little bit stricter still, but nevertheless, I make the most of it. I get out. I go sprinting twice a week. I do my training, sometimes outside, sometimes inside. We're not allowed to work, so I have a lot of time with my family, and that's something I appreciate.
And how are you staying motivated in that? With all that time, is all that time to? Because sometimes we're all craving time, but sometimes when we've got it, we don't do an awful lot with it. We're not very effective. Are you just taking the opportunity to rest, or are you trying to? Have you got some goals and some things to focus on?
Yes, I'm currently working with a chiropractor who's guiding me with some neurological rehabilitation. So I've got some exercises to improve neurological function. They keep me busy. I do them 3 times a day, and one of the exercises I have to do 10 times a day. That's just for 2 weeks that I do this. Otherwise, goals, I think I've decided for myself not to, since I'm not working, I decided to actually take it easy and really make the most of spending time with my 14-month-old and with my wife, and take some pressure off her while she's still working from home. And, having a 14-month-old at home and then having to work, I have to keep him busy. I have to keep him out of the way.
Yeah, got to keep him entertained.
Yeah. So, what about you, Ben? What's your situation at the moment?
Well, we're still open, and as we said before, we've got the ability as chiropractors, in my opinion, to be very, very effective with our infection control. We can limit the number of people coming through the door. We can clean between patients where we're wearing aprons, we're wearing gloves, we're wearing masks, we're wearing visors. So, our patients are constantly feeding back that they feel very safe and comfortable coming in, and we are frontline healthcare workers here in the UK, and we've been advised to stay open, which is positive for us. It's positive for our patients because, as we've said, particularly during this lockdown, people need our help more than ever. A lot of back pain, a lot of neck pain, no doubt are a result of working from home, as we've discussed before. And so things kind of remain open and remain fairly consistent for us. Whether that changes is yet to be seen, because it's a daily basis kind of looking at the news and seeing what the updates are. But I think it's fair to say that despite best intentions, the lockdowns aren't achieving an awful lot. So hopefully, if it needs to be this vaccination program, then so be it, because I don't see that they've got any other options, and certainly we've got no options to make those decisions for ourselves. And so let's hope that they progress forward with that so that people can get back to normal. Because I think a lot of people, from a mental health point of view, are suffering now. There's a lot of people that I know that live and work at home on their own, and that's a massive problem. And I think we're going to see a big fallout from that in months and years to come, because it's affecting a lot of people.
Yes, I think that's a good point. Mental health, I consider myself very strong mentally, but the last couple of weeks, because I've been at home now nearly 6 weeks, I can really feel that it's daunting on you a little bit. It's like a reality slowly settling, and you got to deal with it. And in the beginning, you're able to push it away and give it some time and keep yourself distracted from things. But at some point, and I think for some people that may have happened earlier, and for others it happens later. It just depends if you're able to keep on working or whether you're sitting home and you're not able to do anything because of the type of job that you have.
Yeah.
But but over here, I think we're one of the few, if not the only countries in the West where chiropractors are actually, we have to be closed. And we have a very strong association, and the management of the association they're very busy with trying to get some information through to the government, where someone can actually take it to the level where they can make a decision and get us to work, because we're not allowed to work, and physiotherapists are, and lots of the other care workers, which they then consider as essential care, are working, but it's in the eyes of chiropractors not actually more essential than what we would be doing right now.
Yeah, it's frustrating when some are open and some are not, and actually the differences are, as we've discussed on podcasts before, depending on your approach, very similar anyway. And so it kind of it doesn't make a lot of sense. But it's interesting what you say about distraction, because I think when it comes to back health and pain, that's a big problem. And I think that's why we're seeing more issues of back pain and neck pain, because people are more focused on it because they're at home potentially on their own, and so they focus more on it. And we talk a lot in the clinic with our patients around pain and how to manage pain and how important that element of it is, and that our backs are very strong, they're very stable, they're very resilient. And sometimes when we get an episode of back pain, it's not specifically a tissue injury necessarily. It's tissue sensitivity and discomfort. Hurt doesn't equal harm is the message that we often convey and share with patients, so that it gives them that reassurance. But a lot of that comes from not being focused on it and being able to be distracted by normal life, by meeting with friends, by doing those things that actually they enjoy and give them fulfillment, and mean that they're not just focused on that one negative. And so I think this is going to become such a big problem, not just from a musculoskeletal health point of view, but mentally and far wider reaching, I think.
Yes, and I can definitely add to that. I mean, the mental health aspect contributing to physical health, and what you just mentioned, when we experience pain, it's so much influenced by how we feel mentally. And that distraction, I notice myself, if I get out, I'm distracted. I feel good. I feel great. Let's go for a walk, or let's go for a cycle. And we're being told that we should do less of that. And I think a lot of older people are doing a lot less of that. And so they're more vulnerable to these physiological changes brought on by any mental change or perceived threat or anxiety. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this thing pans out over the next few months and maybe next few years.
Well, yeah, exactly. How long will it last? And I think that's the thing. That, there'll come a point, I think, where people, previously it was a novelty, and people thought, I'm just going to take this time and relax and be a bit, dare we say it, complacent. And actually now it's kind of, well, this could be the new norm. So shit, I better get myself together and get active, because who knows how long this lasts, whether it's short term, long term, or cycles of lockdowns. Is that the new norm for us? Who knows at this point? I mean, we're seeing now these different strains that are becoming a bit of concern. The most recent one being Brazil, and that is resilient to potentially vaccinations. And then there's the one in South Africa. Then there's the UK. So if that's the case, and we do see different strains that are more resistant to the vaccinations, then what's the answer?
Exactly. What's the answer? And we did touch that at some point. I think that we don't want to go too much into depth about it, but I think it's valuable to say that it's our health. The answer to many of these things is simply our health. And if you take care of your health, you make sure that you become more resilient to a stronger type of flu, then you can have more certainty that you will be resilient, and you will then get it and make some antibodies, and we can hopefully get rid of that anxiety and fear. But Ben, what is our plan for this year?
Well, I mean, good question. It's exciting to be back. It's been good to have a bit of a break and a bit of reflection on the year from a personal point of view, professional point of view. But we've been getting some positive feedback over the last year with the podcast, and we've been consistent with putting them out every week. And for us now, I think we agree, we're looking forward to getting more guests on the show. Now we've kind of set the intention, as it were, and set the consistency. And I think this is a big message that I'll mention in a moment for people that are listening with back pain. Just kind of proving to ourselves that we can be consistent with it, and now kind of taking it to that next level and improving the content that we put out there. You've got to start from somewhere, and we often look at social media, and it's one of those devils, I think, where people look at the experiences and the life that others are leading and think that they're missing out, or they've missed something. Whereas everybody on social media and got their own story, but started from somewhere, and some of those stories aren't necessarily real. It's about taking action, it's about setting an intention, and it's about being consistent. And it's only by doing that you get any success. And we started this off with the intention to help more people and to give them more advice around back health, because we saw that some of the experiences that people were getting from when they did come and see us were poor and disappointing. And we're all about empowering people to take ownership of their back health and be empowered to move and be confident in movement, and confident that movement will be beneficial in their recovery and will help them to overcome their back issues, and not be reliant on seeing a practitioner necessarily. Not that that's a bad thing from a maintenance preventative point of view, but we want people to be confident that they can control things themselves. So if you are listening, if you're in lockdown, be patient. Don't feel like you need to necessarily see someone straight away. Take some of the advice from the content that we're putting out there, some of the videos, and take action and try some of the exercises on a daily basis to help support your recovery. There'll always be something, there'll always be some exercise, some movement that you can do that will be comfortable, that will be relieving, that will help and benefit your back. So yes, when you're sensitive and got a significant issue of acute pain, we want to avoid those activities that are particularly painful. But don't be fearful. The back is very resilient, and that's the message that we want to bring home, and share more content that will support back health and recovery. So it's great to be getting the messages through via email. It's great to be getting the reviews and the likes and shares that we're getting, and we look forward to sharing more content with the listeners, with the audience, and we appreciate your ears and your time. And looking forward to continuing the project, as it were, moving forward this year, as well as, of course, the course around back health that we're continuing to progress and work through, and looking forward to sharing that in a few months' time, hopefully.
Exactly. So that's the next step for us, is to actually get that program out there, where we can really help people from the first stage of recovery to becoming really resilient and understanding their back and being functionally back into doing the things that they really like to do. So
Exactly. That's the aim. People invariably, when they've got back issues and back pain, they stop doing the things they love, or they're prevented from doing the things they love, whether that's playing with their children or whether that's playing golf. And ultimately, it's about the pain points that are affecting their life. The back pain is affecting their lives. It's not about necessarily the pain itself. It's about what that's preventing you from doing, and it's holding on to that. Holding on to that goal, having that goal in the first place, and believing that you can get back to it, because invariably you can. And there's a lot of messaging out there around back health that is all, very fear avoidant kind of communication. That maybe there's good intention, but actually we're seeing now more and more evidence and research suggests that the way we talk and the way we communicate has an impact on patients' beliefs and on their recovery. And sometimes, as practitioners, we've got to self-reflect and see that we've got to be careful in the way that we talk. We talk a lot about instability. It's maybe instability in a moment in time that we want to build more stability, but in and of itself, sometimes that word instability isn't necessarily helpful, because people think, well, I've got an unstable back. The back is very resilient, and it might be that it needs some help from muscles to support it. But the point and the key take-home message is the back recovers very well with the right approach and the right guidance. And you can get back to doing those things that you want to do. It may take time. It may take a few months. It may take a good year if it's really, if you've really been suffering from problems for a significant length of time. But, we've seen time and time again, with the right approach, with a patient approach, and taking advice and taking action, taking ownership, and doing some work yourself, a collaborative approach serves patients very, very well and gets them back to doing what they love. And that's the aim. That's the ultimate aim. And we talk about that in our intro of the podcast. That was very clear from the outset of what we wanted to achieve with this, was that we wanted to get patients back to doing the things they love. Because when we speak to patients in the clinic, and you all have experienced this, Jacob, the frustrations come from when we really dig deep into what you can't do, what's it preventing you from doing. And it's that emotional side of things that is the big elephant in the room, and that is the big frustration and the big fear for people, because we only get one life, and we want to do the things we love along the way. And if we're prevented from doing those because of back pain, then that's very sad, especially when you're not getting the right advice, not getting the right support, and therefore you're not recovering as you can. And that's my message for people, and that's always my message, is to try and reassure, inspire, and educate and build confidence. Because if we can do those things, then we're going to have a lot of success. And clearly in clinic, I'm seeing that, and now it's spreading the net wider for a more global audience, to share those successes. Because, as I say, an active exercise-based approach is certainly very, very important. And we can do that without necessarily having to put our hands on patients all of the time. That's not to say that some passive care isn't beneficial, for sure, but it's not always absolutely necessary. So watch out for the program, and we'll continue to keep everyone up to date. We're going to be more active as well on our Instagram page. We've been sharing sharing the podcasts on there, and now we're just looking to add in a little bit more content in terms of exercises, the things that we're doing as well, Jacob, in the gym, that we find beneficial, just to share that content, to inspire, and to educate more and more.
That's great, Ben. Thanks for the explanation. And I hope that we can deliver that pretty soon, and we can get people going on that program and help them, start helping them understanding what's going on with them, and help them through the process of really getting better.
Absolutely. And watch out, guys, for the guest episodes. We've got a good one coming up. Hopefully just waiting for confirmation on Friday's scheduled meeting, but very much around postpartum back health, and just how much it's overlooked in terms of management. And Jacob, you'll know yourself from your wife's experience and myself as well, that the management and the care of women's health throughout pregnancy is pretty phenomenal. Certainly, in Holland, in the UK. But as soon as that baby safely arrived, off you go, get on with it, is kind of the approach, and I think there's a lot that can be done in terms of advice from an phased exercise based approach to really ensure that that women rebuild that pelvic floor health, and there's a focus on that, which will support back health. So watch out for that episode. It's going to be a good one. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to sharing that. That one should be coming out a week on Thursday. So we're recording this episode 19th of January. So this will be coming out a week tomorrow. So look out for that one.
Great.
Look forward to sharing. And we shall continue to record. We'll continue to hopefully inspire, and hopefully, if you're listening, give us a rating, give us a review, and help share the content with a wider audience as we continue to help inspire you to better back health. And hold on to that inspiration that you will get back to doing the things you love. It may take some time, it may take some effort, and it will certainly take some patience in some cases, but you can get back to doing what you love. So thanks as always for listening, guys. Thanks, Jacob. And quick session to introduce 2021, and we'll be back with more episodes throughout the year. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.